Hello boys and girls, mums and dads, cats and dogs, or whoever's watching this. I've got my retro shirt on because I've just unboxed, just before this machine, a vacuum cleaner from the late 70s, early 80s. This one is from the 80s, but I thought I'd keep this shirt. You could wear this in the 80s, I suspect. Right, yes, I know this channel is becoming the Hoover Turbo Power Hoover Sensotronic channel, isn't it? Because I love my Sensotronics. Let's hope this Sensotronic System 20 has arrived without any damage. But one good thing, if this has been damaged, notably the wheels, I do have 2 sets of spare wheels that fit this model and in the correct colour. I will still be asking for a partial refund, but let's hope it's not broken. Right, let's get this awful shrink wrap off. Dear me. Now, this could be... Oh, it is. Now, it's not in the original box, but this is part of the original box. This is definitely the tool box. The Sensotronics were packed in one outer, and then they had 2 inner boxes. And this is definitely the cleaning tools. And it's definitely dirty and in need of a good clean. Now I'm going to experiment with washing this hose and another similar one in the washing machine. I might make a separate video, but before I wash them I will remove this pistol grip handle. You've got suction control, so obviously it's not a power hose. You can't wash power hoses in water, you can just wash the outside of them, but this is a non-power hose. There's the hose end. So this is original as far as I can tell. It wouldn't have had a double stretch hose, this system 20, but it swivels either end. Put that filthy hose on my clean carpet. Then we've got 2 plastic wands, and amazingly it's not broken. That one isn't anyway. The lock ring breaks on these, and even on that one it's not broken. And this one also has the little bracket so we can park the wand at the back of the cleaner. And we have, and again it's not bad, it'll clean up nicely, the Hoover Contour Plus nozzle. And this is always a little bit different because the brushes are fixed on this. So this is in its hard floor position. You can see it's got a metal base plate, that'll polish up okay. You've got 1 litre picker there. So in hard floor position, the brush you can see all the way around, but when you press down on the pedal, instead of the brush moving, what happens is the base plate moves down and the brush stays still. And I can see when I did that, there's a load of fluff in there, so that's going to have to be taken apart and de-fluffed at some point. And before I have a quick go over my carpet, I'll just wipe that base plate with a wet wipe, just to make it a bit cleaner. Right, there's nothing hiding in there, maybe a few spiders. So, well, first impressions, it looks like it's been packed well. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Oh, they are heavy. Right, that can go to the recycling, that box, that part. I will keep the tool box because after it's been vacuumed out. Ooh, why is that? Oh, right. The wheels have survived. Well, it looks, on first impression, to have survived. Well, folks, will you have a look at the finish on that? Now, I like to give my vacuums a quick wipe over after initially unboxing them, so I'm not getting covered in muck when I'm showing you around the cleaner. So I just used a wet wipe, or 5 wipes off the surface dirt, a quick T-cut and a quick polish with some car polish, and wow, This looks almost new. There are some problems with it, I've noticed. Nothing broken, but there are a few problems, but I should be able to sort them. Obviously I've not switched it on yet, but look at that. I'm so pleased with this. So pleased. But things aren't perfect, and I will point out this cleaner's imperfections. One thing that is quite perfect almost, and I'm very surprised at this. Now I've not cleaned it properly because there's still some paint. This looks like emulsion paint on the wheels, and there's still some emulsion paint underneath, but I'll do that later. It's got a plug that's far too old for the 80s really. This is more of a 60s MK, so I will be fitting a nicer, but an 80s plug. But what I noticed when I was cleaning, I've pulled out the mains cord and gave that a wipe as well. But what normally happens with, certainly with Sensotronics, this part here is always, when it's used, being gouged by the user pulling out the mains cord at this angle, and as they pull it out, it rubs on the top of the housing here and puts great big gouges in it after, you know, after a certain number of years or whatever. But look at that, that is pretty perfect. Look at the back of that. If the wheels were clean, that would look brand new. Absolutely very pleased with this. It looked okay in the listing, but you know, you can never tell from an eBay listing until you actually get your hands on it. Now there's a little problem. It's probably quite a minor thing, although I don't know if it's fixed itself. The tool cover wasn't really, no, it still doesn't. It doesn't quite fit properly, so I'll need to look at that. The main thing wrong with this, and it was pointed out in the listing, is the writing here. If you can see all the dazzling lights, because it's all cleaned. Look at, now you can see how it's worn. Now I can either leave it as it is, and I probably will, or use T-cut and remove that entirely. But there's no way, well, it might turn up, but to get a replacement cover in the correct colour, pretty hard to get hold of these days. Here's the tool caddy. So a couple of things wrong. We are missing the upholstery nozzle, and I don't know, but I don't think they ever came with this square type dusting brush. They were more of a rounded dusting brush, even on this generation. I mean, it fits. In fact, that might be what's causing, oh look, didn't really do that bit, I just wiped it. No, I don't think, I thought it might be that causing the tool caddy not to close properly, the door, but no, I don't think that's it. Well, crikey. Have they ever used, oh, it's a bit dusty, but I didn't do the tools. But that's in pretty good shape, so I just need an all-purpose / upholstery nozzle, and that would be okay. Right. Again, I've not done this. This needs a proper wash. So let's have a look at the date wheel. It is saying 87 on it. So May 1987. This part was made. We've got the Hoover air freshener. No odour really left to that. It's probably the original one. But that's all okay, no cracks. Obviously a very full bag, I'm assuming. Is it? Ugh. Well, it's got the bag clip at least. I will remove that and replace it with a new one. And yeah, look, quite mucky inside. I've got new filters. That is absolutely caked in muck. What I'll do, is my vacuum plugged in? I don't know if it's plugged in. Hang on, I've got a vacuum at hand here. Be prepared. I've got the worst off, haven't I? So as I said, I've got another one of these filters, but for the initial switch on it's going to perform a bit better. I'm just going to nip upstairs because I'm pretty sure I've got a bag, a box of bags. I'll give this a quick wipe out as well with my wet wipe and put a new bag in, and then we'll switch this machine on. Well folks, I can't lay my hands on a new packet of bags at the moment, so I've had to empty this one. Ugh, and that was disgusting. These are single layered paper bags. They don't even have the twin skin bags that even the original Sensotronics had. So it'll do for the initial switch on. I will have to, when I've got time, well, I'll have to find the time, won't I, to find all these parts I need. But it'll do for now. Just wondering why that cover doesn't actually go on properly. I can't see any reason why it's not. But anyway, it's a little thing. Right, I know, seems okay now. Just close the door and we'll have the initial switch on. I've put it in the low settings. This is, well, I'll switch it on before explaining other things. Pull out the mains cable. A good quality cable on here as well. I'll plug in. Right, I've plugged in, but it's not switched on at the wall. I think I'll direct the cleaner this way in case any dust comes out of the back of it. Again, I don't know if the pedal, the on-off pedal, is in the on position yet. I'll soon find out. Right, fingers crossed, please work. Well, tickle me pink, that sounds very good. Very good indeed. It's not, you know, look, I'm pointing out things I haven't done properly. Well, I haven't, because this has not had a, it's going to need to be taken apart to clean properly. But, you know, for the initial wipe and polish, crikey. I won't do a suction, or shall I? Shall I do a suction test for you? If I can find my gauge. I mean, it's not going to be at the best because, hang on folks, here it is. It needs a proper new bag in and it needs a new filter. So that might make a bit of a difference. We'll give it a go out of interest, and then hopefully you'll see this again and I'll see if my refurb has made any difference to the gauge. Make sure that's closed. There we go. Well, it read about 64, which isn't great, but after I've refurbished it, new bag, new filter, we might be able to increase that. Although there was a lot of suction loss through this. I could, you know, you can never get a tight seal on this type of nozzle, and even by adding a wand, it's very hard to get a proper tight seal. There's always going to be a gap. So yeah, it wouldn't have made much of a difference though. So less powerful than I remember, although for its time they were pretty powerful. Hoover advertised the first generation, the 1000 watt generation, well this is 1000 watts, as having 250 air watts. So it's nice that both tubes are fine. Briefly, because I've cleaned that very quickly, it already looks better. So you can imagine what a full refurbishment would do for this machine. So that's locked into place. We'll have a quick look. So we've seen inside, haven't we? And we've seen the control panel briefly. So we can see here on the control panel, foot operated on-off pedal, automatic cord rewind. We've got the slide control to adjust the suction, and of course the LEDs here to indicate your selected suction setting, from lowest for curtains right up to maximum for your hard floors. And we've got the sensor indicator. Green means everything's fine and dandy, and red means there's either a blockage or the bag's full. And we've got two little vents here that are supposed to release the air freshener, but obviously they're really just for show. They added this extra set of vents to make it look more symmetrical on the first, well, not the first generation, the second generation. This is sort of 2.1 generation. This is a second generation but slightly updated, new colours, and I think that's when they added the parking bracket. But they also added another set of holes just so it balances up with this set here. Do you want to see these again? I'm a sucker for LEDs. Let's have a look at those again. And on the underside, I'll just remove the hose, make it a bit easier to show you. You can see here where I haven't quite cleaned it properly, but you'll forgive me, I'm sure. Two wheels, swivel caster, here's the rating plate. Let's have a quick look at that. So it's Hoover model S3450, made in France, trademarks of Hoover PLC, 50 Hz, 1000 watts, 240 volts. And the serial number is 806-03824, which I think makes this 1984. But please don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, as I so often am. I've just noticed it's spewing out the diffuser at the back. You can't see it. They never survive. There's a black diffuser behind that grill, and I can see little bits of it on the carpet. So that will need replacing with a similar material when I open this up, which is fairly easy to do, fairly easy to open up these cleaners. Lots of screws to undo. All these screws here, and then you can remove the whole bottom casing. But it is doable. Just at the top here, you've got your, again that's stiff because it needs cleaning, that's your hose release button. And here is the parking bracket, a later edition. And here is where the power takeoff socket would be on remote and total system models. So you can pop the hose back in. The hose needs a good clean. That way. That's it, that's in. I'll give this a quick push. Check the cord rewind, which will be sluggish, I can guarantee it. They always were. But all in all, wowzer, I'm absolutely thrilled with how that's polished up in really just a few minutes. I told you it was sluggish, didn't I? It will go in eventually. Go on. Well, that's the end of today's video on the Hoover Sensotronic System 20. Absolutely chuffed with this. It's far, far better than I expected it to be. It's always nice when you open something from eBay and it's better than it looks in the pictures. Normally it's the other way around, but today the vacuum gods have been smiling on me and have given me this cleaner in excellent condition. As I said, needs to be dismantled and properly cleaned, but yeah, it's very good. It looks almost new, doesn't it? Fantastic for a cleaner from the mid-80s. If you have any comments or questions about this Hoover Sensotronic, please comment below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next video. Bye for now.